My pimply ass ain't gonna be on there. It's like the wrestling business. You not make that shit up.
Reinforcer Nation, we are back on the air with you. My name is Jeff Lawhorn. The guy to my right is the Reinforcer himself, Andrew Anderson, and we've also got the lovely third member of the crew here. Miss Karen is sitting in the center. If you're watching us on the Facebook channel, you can see that we've got another gentleman up here on the screen. We got another awesome guest for you guys this week. He's a true cowboy of the squared circle, straight out of the golden age of professional wrestling. You may know some of his family members, too. Son of Grizzly Smith, half-brother of Jake the Snake Roberts, and, you know, a little lady by the name of Rockin' Robin. We've got Mr. Sam Houston on the show with us. Sam, how you doing, man?
Hey, man, I'm doing great. Could I just add one more thing? You said the family. My daughter now, Samantha Starr, is now one half of the NWA World Tag Team Champions. So there's another like feather in the cap too.
Right, she came a long way, man. I'm proud of her. She's done a bang up job.
Yeah, she has, and I got to tell you, I'm so proud. I'm so scared too, you know, because that's my kid, you know, and boy, I just want to snatch somebody up. But I know the profession we're in and everything else. But I let her do her thing. She, well, it's not just me, but she does her thing, and she goes out there and she handles business, and she's gotten to where she's gotten, not being my daughter or anything like that. She's gotten there on her own.
On her own, 100%.
There's so much pride in that, you know. I'm just overwhelmed, you know. It's awesome. And I got to tell you something, you know, I guess this is the first time I've done y'all's show and stuff. Well, Jeff, let me tell you about the when I first got out of prison and everything from my DUI and stuff, and I first went to the CACs and stuff. I met the fellow that you're sitting with, Andrew Anderson. I got to tell you, he's one hell of a quality man. The guy, you know, a lot of people judged me and stuff like that, but Andrew approached me as a brother, as a gentleman, and everything else, and as a top competitor. I love getting in the ring, working with him and stuff. He's you know, he's aces in my book, and that's one of the reasons I agreed to do the show too, because you know, Andrew's been cool with me, and I'm cool with Andrew. And Miss Karen, hi, it's very nice to meet you for the first time.
Hi, nice to meet you too.
Thank you.
Just for the record, Sam, in a short time, you and I became extremely close friends. We've gone through a lot. We've actually ribbed each other to no end, to the point where it was actually tormenting each other when I covered your car with baby powder.
Oh, that's all right. No, that washes off.
You got me plenty of times. You got me plenty of times too.
No, that's okay.
So
Like that, you know, I'm good with glue sticks on cans.
Glue sticks on cans?
Yeah, you put glue on around the opening on a can, and when people go to take a swallow of the Coke or something,
see, yeah.
Got Cahagas with that one. Yeah.
Sam, explain to me when Jake went to the airport and he had something written on his forehead.
Oh yeah, I'd written. Well, you know, we all carried those fanny packs, and it took 2 halcyons to put them down. You know, but I'd pulled. You know, I'd charged up a bunch of stuff to his room. Well, he put the snake in bed with me first. You know, and it took like 6 weeks before we were in the same town again. And we were in the same town, so it was in Wisconsin somewhere, and he had just been on Ellery Queen magazine with his Don Johnson suits. You know, and Jake was class, man. He was all class. Anyway, you know, he'd put the snake in bed with me. Well, you got to one-up him. So he ended up falling asleep. He was passing out at the bar. I think somebody H-bombed him. So I go to take him to his room, and I got his key and everything, and I charged up, you know, I got me a case of beer and a, you know, bottle of Crown Royal and some meals and stuff, and I was sitting there and I was punching the SpectraVision movies and getting, you know, $10 a shot, making phone calls from his room, you know, direct calls. And then, but it just wasn't enough. And he was laying there sleeping. And I thought to myself, wow, I could set the alarm clock, the time up ahead 2 hours, and at 4 o'clock in the morning, he'll think it's 6, and his flight's at 6:30. So I'm thinking, well, that would be cool, but what would top that? And he was sleeping there, he was sitting up in the bed, and Jake's got a pretty good forehead there, and I had a Sharpie marker and I wrote stupid across his head, and then and I went back down to my room and I waited at 4 o'clock in the morning. I went back to his room, I moved the rent-a-car to the front desk. I banged on his door, got him awake and everything. And, look, dude, it's 6 o'clock in the morning. We got to get you to the airport. Because back then it was a fine if you missed your flight. And Vince always put us on that first flight. So as we're walking out of the hotel, he tosses the key to the lady at the front desk and she buzzes up a little bit, and he goes, "Yeah, baby, it's me, the snake," because he was telling me how everybody was recognizing him for being on the cover of Ellery Queen magazine. So anyway, we get to the airport, I drop him off, and he's looking around because it's still dark outside. I go turn and rent a car in. When I come back in, I ride up the escalator and he's talking to the ticket agent, and she's up there and she's smiling real big, and you can tell the tears were welled up in her eyes. And I go stand next to him, and and we're standing there, and she looks at me and she goes, and I was like, yeah. And so somebody come out of one of the offices and waved at him. And he goes, "Man, that everybody's recognizing me. Far more. That's the Ellery Queen." I said, "That's what must be." And he said, "Man, it's only 4:20 in the morning." I said, "Those British bulldogs, those damn British bulldogs, Jake. I don't know how they did this to us, but they." So, switching the heat. So we go through security and stuff, and we get down to the restaurant. We're gonna have breakfast, and so we sit down, and the lady's sitting there. She's beaming and stuff. So she takes order. I just ordered coffee. Jake said everything's happened so fast, man. He goes, "I haven't had time to, go to the bathroom." I go, "I'll be right back." As soon as he got in the bathroom, boom, I was out of there, and I was in a cab and I'm gone. I didn't come back till I knew his flight was gone. We didn't see each other for about 2 months. And then Toronto, I walked into the dressing room and he was there, and he goes, "Ha, ha, ha, ha. We're cool, huh?" And I said, "Yeah, if you are, if I'm fine if you are." So we backed off on ribbing each other for a little while. But then one night he got me real good, um, up there. Well, in this business, there are, guys do use stuff to help. And I'd gotten on some steroids for a little bit, and I was all pumped up, and we were broke down. Well, actually, we were teetering in a Lincoln Town car on a 1-lane highway, going to South Bend, Indiana. And he talked me out of getting out of the car and getting in the ditch and picking up on the front end so the back wheels would hit the ground. And when the back wheels hit the ground, he gunned it, and he covered me from head to waist with mud, And then I couldn't stop nowhere to get cleaned up till we get to the hotel. It was, well, you have fun on the road.
Classic stuff, man.
Yeah.
Are you still pretty close to Jake at this point in time?
Yeah, we talk when we see each other and stuff, we talk. I mean, and then, we'll talk on the phone about once a month, check in on each other and talk and see how each other's doing and stuff. I'm just so happy that he's still doing really well. Yeah, Jake's got one of the best minds ever in this business. Got nothing but, and he's come back from a lot of hard struggles too. With me, it was alcohol, and I was a bad alcoholic for a long time, but I got 15 years without a drink, and Jake's got what, about 10 or 12, 13 years without being on his drug of choice. So I'm really proud of him. I mean, anytime you quit and walk away from something, and you've got that fortitude in your body to say, no, damn it, I ain't going to do it no more. I'm not going back. That's something to fight for, and my life has never been better. These last few years since COVID and the whole 9 yards, I've been blessed. Every day's a blessing to me. I mean, I just got, I know your listeners don't know it, or maybe some of them do, or whatever, but I just got out of a battle with stage 3 lung cancer. Um, I'll go into it a little bit if you don't mind. Is it cool
Go
with
right
y'all?
ahead.
Yeah, man.
Last
This
year,
is your
April 20,
platform. Sam, I
huh?
want you to tell us everything that happened in the past year and a half. I was just fortunate enough that you were one of the people that you trusted me with what happened, and you called me early on when you found the spot on your lung. And like I said, you always taught me something, the power of prayer. Years ago, when all the shit was going on with me in my life, you were there for me. And just to let you know that I always stood behind you, and I prayed for you like hell through the whole thing. So
Thank you so much. I'm going to tell you something, y'all. Prayers work. That's the most powerful thing that's the most powerful weapon you've got. Prayers work. Last year, April 22nd, I went and had a CT scan. I come back, they said there's a spot on my lung. Well, I've been smoking cigarettes since I was 14 years old, so I kind of knew what it was. And, of course, they come back and they said they wanted a biopsy. Well, they told me where it was. It was it was the upper lobe of the right lung. There's 3 lobes on the right side. So I know I talked to the doctor, and I figured, well, shoot, if we go in there and cut that tumor out and get it out of me, that's what we're going to do. But first they wanted to do the biopsy to make sure. Um, well, anytime there's a tumor in your body, that's your body fighting that disease and putting it, and encasing that disease. Well, when they went in and did the biopsy, they opened the tumor, they scooped some of it out. Well, the tumor dripped, and it dripped down lower into my into the lung. Well, um, knew I was gonna after the biopsy. I knew I was gonna have the surgery, and I didn't know about the drippings at the time. I knew I was gonna have the surgery, and not I mean a little while earlier, a year or so earlier, my tag team partner, my brother Charlie Thunderblood Norris, he's closer than a brother to me. We were tag team partners. We went all over the world together. He'd passed away, and I'd been a member of his tribe. I'd been adopted into their family for 30 years ago. And anyway, when I went up there it, for his ceremony, for his burial and everything, I became friends with the medicine man, the healer that presided over Charlie's ceremony. And he did, Jason Hart, he did an amazing, a beautiful job, and he explained everything for people and stuff like that. It was, so you weren't sitting there not knowing the traditions and what was going on. Well, I want the family. Well, the family had realized that I still hadn't got my spiritual name, and I wanted to get that before I had the surgery. So Kim and I, we made a trip to Wisconsin, Madison, Wisconsin, and Jason met us there, and I had to make my tobacco journey where I give him an offering for him to name me, and he goes back and he smokes the tobacco, and then the spirits tell him my name, and so we go up. He gets the name. The name comes to him. We go up in July for the powwow right before my surgery scheduled. We did the naming ceremony. Charlie's family was all around me. Kim, my wife Kim, was there. My daughter Samantha Starr was there. It was a beautiful ceremony. He gave me my name. My name is Memush Kawikabo, which means still standing strong. He told me when he smoked my tobacco, he saw visions about my life and the stuff that I'd been through. And he told me, he said, usually you get your name at the beginning of your life. You're getting yours close to the end. He said, from what he's seen and all the troubles that I've gone through, he said, and I'm still standing strong. Is how I got my name. And then we came back. We had a wonderful time at the powwow and everything. We came back, and then on July 12th, they went in and did the surgery. They removed the lobe. That afternoon, I got up because I know how important it is to get up and get moving. That afternoon, or that evening, I walked 300 yards back and forth down the hallway at the hospital because I wanted to get back home. The next day, I walked 600 yards, and so that evening they let me go home. So we were home, and I'm healing and everything, doing everything, everything they told me, and they called me back to the lung doctor, and he says, "Sir, we're sorry to inform you, but your stage 1 lung cancer is now stage 3." And then they came at me with targeted radiation, chemotherapy, and then it seems my blood type or my whatever DNA or whatever, I was going to be able to benefit from this drug called Tagrisso. It's over $17,000 a month for that stuff, and they wanted me to be on it for 1 to 3 years. Well, I agreed. Uh, I was okay with the targeted radiation, so we got that all set up. And after I started that, I mean, and it takes the spunk out of you. And Jason and I talked on the phone, and he was asking me how I was doing because I hadn't really told everybody about the cancer. Only a few people. And so I was telling him about it, and he said he would like to come down and do a healing ceremony on me. And we agreed, and it was a little boy and water drum ceremony. And we went through the whole ceremony. Kim and I, we tied the leather onto the drum with the rocks and the ropes and everything. Um, and it was a beautiful ceremony. It was eagle bones healing ceremony on me, and he used a new golden eagle feather to pinpoint the sickness in my body, and then the eagle bones to remove the sickness out of my body, pull the sickness out. He took it into his body. I want you to understand. He took it into his body, and then he regurgitated it out into a bag. And then my job after that was to bury it to where it would never hurt another creature. So I was halfway up the mountain. I went ahead and buried it 3 feet deep to where it couldn't come back and hurt anybody else. So that was on a Saturday evening. Sunday morning when I woke up, I went down at our cabin. Gosh, we have a staircase that takes you all the way down to the creek. And every morning I would go there because it's solitude, and I get up early, and I like to sit in nature. And I would go down there and I would talk to Charlie and smoke a cigarette. So I went down there and I was talking to Charlie and smoking a cigarette, and my side was burning, and I almost heard him. Maybe it was a strong thought through my head or whatever, but it was like I almost heard his voice say, "Hey, wash yourself off in that live water, the creek water. There's living stuff in there. Wash yourself off in the living water." And I grabbed a couple of handfuls and I washed myself off. By the time I made it to the bottom floor of the cabin, the burning in my side was gone. And I went in and I woke up Kim and I said, "Kim, the burning's gone." Well, I started picking up a little bit, and I got a little juice in me that day. And I think a lot of it was because I'd been off of radiation for 2 days. And now this was 3 weeks uh, into my radiation therapy. And so we go do that, and we come back from the mountains I'm going to bring Jason and Aaron back to the airport. And Jason tells me, he says, another thing that's strong medicine is you need to find some place where somebody's run over a skunk or something like that, and you need to go in there and you need to breathe that and get that into your lungs. He said that's good medicine. And I was like, okay, right, you know. So as divine providence, my mother-in-law, when I drop him off from the airport, calls me up and says my father-in-law's got a skunk in the barn, and could I please come help? So I got me about 20 minutes with a skunk funk in there, and it was rough, I got to tell you. But it wasn't anything, because I'm gonna tell you, the healing in my body was going on. I go to the kept going to the radiation after the ceremony. I was gonna complete the radiation now. So I go to the radiation for 3 or 4 days the next week. I was going 5 days a week. I'm in there like on the third day I'm there, and the doctors, they're looking at me kind of odd. Well, my wife and I go in. She would come with me on the days that the doctor would actually sit down and talk with you. And the doctor comes up and he sits down and he says, "You're a miracle." He wanted to know how I changed my diet, all the things that I'd changed. And I had made some changes. Um, but he wanted to know my diet. He said, "You're a miracle." He said, "We can't find any cancer in your body." And this was right after the ceremony. So um, I've talked to Jason about it, and Jason said all things work together. It wasn't, he was the instrument, or he was the tool that the creator used to help me pull that out of my body. So prayer works. We just have to know how to pray and how to ask for things. It's all a give and take. Everything in life is a give and take. And it started with me with the tobacco offering, because that brings joy to the creator you know and as long as I can do that, and if I can help people, I want to help people. Now, when I tell you about the things that I changed, they put me on all kinds of medications and stuff. This is well, let me try to get this on camera. This is one of the and this is all natural. This is rhubarb root. It's a rhubarb root type of medication. Turkey tail mushroom. This helped me out a lot. I take one of these a day, in the morning and one in the evening every day. And then I would drink Easiac tea. So if anybody wants to get into that tea, it's made out of, I believe, the elderberry root and some other things. But that Easiac tea, it shrinks tumor. For me, I guess it shrinks stuff down and helps your body expel it. But the company I go through is Zeller, and I believe they're in Minnesota. But they've got, and these are medicines that are made from plants and stuff. So it's all natural, all healthy, and everything like that. I owe my life, you know. So I just want to help people. This is what helped me, you know. I know what my friend Black Bart was going through when he was undergoing the chemotherapy and stuff like that. And my God, it tears my heart out. But I don't think I could have done. I'm not the man Bart was. I couldn't have done that. I couldn't have gone through that. And I'm glad that I found a way out, or I'm glad that the Creator decided to bless me with life. Yeah.
That's really, really awesome, man. Karen, you
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I mean, that really moved me more than you know.
Oh,
Thank you
good.
so much
Well,
for sharing
I'm
that,
gonna
and
be
we'll
back.
have to put
Okay,
up.
I've got a whole new family in Minnesota with Charlie's family. I've been a member of that family for 30 years, but the medicine man Jason and I are brothers now. He gave me my name, so he is my namesake. And we're working on our bond, and he's teaching me these ceremonies and things. And I know it's all up to me, and the things that I have to trade for, the things that I have to give up, that I might enjoy or something like that, that I need to put away and focus on the creator and everything he can do to help, so I can do and help.
it's really, really
I've
awesome.
got I talked to him the other day. I want to do something And I want to write a story, the story of the Renegades, how Charlie and I were together, and I want some of the proceeds to go from that book. Of course, I wanted to go for Charlie's family. He's got a granddaughter and a daughter. I'd like that. I'd like to be able to help out there, but I'd also like to be able to help out the substance abuse center in Red Lake Nation. Red Lake is close to my heart, and I'm going to be able to go up. And this, like I said, I mentioned the other day, we're doing an event in Thief River Falls, Minnesota, at Seven Clans Casino on July the 19th. I'm doing my best. It'll be a year and 5 days since the surgery, and that's going to be my return and possibly my last match. It'll be my retirement match. I have done everything I've ever wanted to do in this business. I've been around the world 7 times. I opened up for The Who twice. I was almost eaten by cannibals. I mean, you name it, I've been there. I've seen it all, done it all, and I'm still living. I've made it this far, but these last few years, I mean, I was what do you call a confirmed bachelor for like 32 years. So these last almost 4 years now, baby, have been the happiest of my life, and I'm satisfied with sitting at home because I got a beautiful house. I got a great bunkhouse here, but I'm satisfied. I get to sleep in the same bed every night with the woman I love. Wow, how could life get any better than that? You
Yeah,
know?
right.
That's really really cool, man. Does your lovely wife there want to pop on quick and
Come on,
show the
Kim.
world who tamed the Bachelor there?
Come on, Kim, get on here.
Oh,
I look like a marshmallow right now with my comfy on.
I got it
All
kind of
right.
cold in the bunkhouse, and we got these comfies for the mountains. At first time I saw it, I was like, "What kind of circus tent crap is that?" And then she got me a camo one, and I put it on up in the mountains. It's like what 25 degrees outside, but we go outside on the back porch and I can smoke a cigarette. And I was in that comfy, and I was like, this is kind of nice. So I keep it kind of cool in here in the bunkhouse, and when she comes in and sits in there, she'll either have a blanket or that on. So, but
Sam,
hey,
I got to tell you, Karen and I got to come down to visit you and Kim. We definitely
Sure.
gotta come down.
Yeah, just let me know ahead of time so I can schedule a trip out of
Don't
town.
just stop
Me, we
in.
No, I'm kidding.
Be there.
Hey,
he'll,
are you
he'll
going to
text
be
you and say, "We're right outside. Open your door."
Oh, okay, yeah. Are y'all going to be doing the Red Bastine Texas shootout?
I haven't heard anything about it yet. I know we're doing the George Tragos, Luthez, Waterloo, Iowa Hall of Fame thing.
Right.
And,
Well, the
12th
night
of
of the
July
event
or
at
something.
Seven Clans is the 19th, which is the last day of that.
July 17th and the 19th. We're going to be at the CAC too. August
Okay.
18th to the 21st. And then the gathering in Charlotte.
Huh?
Are you doing the
What's
gathering in
I'll
Charlotte?
be at the gathering.
I'll see
Uh,
you at the
but
gathering,
the
that's for
19th,
sure.
the 19th is the show for Charlie up in Thief River Falls, and I know that's when that Luthez deal is going on. The Red Bastine thing is going to be outside of Dallas somewhere, the Texas shootout, and for that I think it's just the boys and their families. But I believe we're gonna be taking a collection for.
Well, I'd love
Black
to come down to the Red Bastine because we couldn't come last year. We couldn't do it last year. They had it, or the year before. I don't know which one it was, but we were booked for something else. But yeah, that would be great if I can get to that one. We used to always do the Red Bastine shootouts.
Yeah, they're
old,
good. The boys get to have a good time talking about old stories and stuff like
Yep.
that. And they got our families and stuff. It's not a ticketed thing, and it's not for the general public, but it's just a thing for the boys, I guess.
Now,
But
Sam,
we're going to be in
I want
that.
to also talk about another common friend of ours that I miss severely. We lost Black Bart, and
Yeah.
that was a tough one on you because I mean you and Black Bart were married together in the ring in the NWA in the '80s for months at a time.
Yeah. Oh, good. And you know, gosh, the matches we had, we blew everybody away. He talks about it in his book. Matter of fact, I've got his book around here somewhere. Um, but he talks about if fans want to know some stuff, get Black Bart's book. It was a heck of a little thing. But he talks about me a great deal. See, I knew Bart before I started wrestling. He knew me when I was a mechanic and doing the mechanic work. If the guys broke down on the road, I get left in the middle of nowhere with my toolbox, and okay, make it to the next town, you know. And I had to do it. But Bart was the one that after I had my surgery, I got out of the hospital. I weighed 128 pounds. They had just sewed these up the day before, the scars on my neck. And the show was at the Superdome. And I asked Bart, you know, because Bart had worked with Mike Sharp, and Bart had come down from working Leroy McGurk's side of the territory down to Bill Watts's. And, you know, they were already telling me that I wasn't going to be able to work or wrestle anymore. And I asked Bart, I said, is it worth it? And, you know, he just got beat by, you know, Mike Sharp at the Superdome. And he's like, hell yeah, it's worth it. I'm wrestling in the biggest dome. He was wrestling in the Superdome that night. So hell yeah, it was worth it. So that's when I decided, no matter what, I'm gonna give this shit a shot. You know.
Yeah.
But anyway, hey, do y'all have a lot of collectors that watch on here?
Yeah.
I know you're a collector, Andrew.
You know,
Well,
I collect all Marvel Comics stuff.
Right. Well, at WrestleMania, when they had WrestleMania in Dallas, Bart was there, and I shared my table with him. And I had an idea because I'd seen, so I had gotten some cowbells made, or I paid Bart to make up these. He made up the Texas Four Ropes. He signed one side of it.
That's awesome.
I've signed the other side of it. They come in a potato sack. Get it?
Great. That's classic.
They come in a potato sack, and they'll come with a black and white autographed picture of Black Bart and myself. And I'm asking $1,000 donations for those so I can make it to Linda. And he wanted some donation made to cancer
That's
research.
awesome. Well, we'll be glad to post all that on our Reinforcer Radio site and my own personal sites too to make sure.
I sure would appreciate it. You know, well, you know me, Andrew. I just want to help people out, you know.
Yes, definitely get us that information, Sam, and we'll post that out where people can make the donation to you. You know, how they can get a hold of you in order to set up.
Well, they can reach me on Facebook on Michael Sam Houston, or our friend Amy Friggle, because I needed like a more professional page, because I get kind of political in my stuff sometimes. You know, I'm a conservative and I believe in that. And I don't want to push that on nobody. So Amy, she handles my Sam Houston page on Facebook. And then she just really puts kind of out wrestling information and the information that's, you know, the other stuff, if y'all don't worry about. You know, that's just, you know.
Sam, I think you and I need to have one more match and one tag match together as partners.
Oh, that would be good. That would be good. Hey, the last time you had a manager, what was it? That was at CAC's, and he hit me with that golf club, and then I broke his golf club and broke his nose. Yeah, I broke his golf club and then broke his nose. You know, splattered. Boom. You know, and then he come up and he was proud of that. He was like, "Let me take you to lunch."
He wore that like a badge of honor.
Oh yeah, he's like, "Let me buy you lunch." It's like, okay.
I can completely understand this. I've been
Stuff
asking
happens
Andrew to
when
hit me
you
with
get
a
over.
chair for a
I noticed
while.
Andrew's got this. Andrew, I've seen on that little flyer thing that you're like doing some training and stuff like that. You're going to be a trainer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Trying to,
Real quick,
seminars
this
and
is so much fun. This is so much fun. You get some young guy there, tell him to stand still, and then you just potato the snot out of him, right? If he says anything, okay, if he says anything, you say, you moved.
that's
But most times I found out, most times if you give them something real stiff or whatever, that's how you lay it in, kid. And they go, thank you very much, and
thank you,
shake your
sir.
hand.
Yep.
So
Remember we had
snatch
that
them
one young
again.
kid, and
I
we were
like to
doing the
keep
battle
going
royal at the
until they
cauliflower
start
alley, and the
crying.
young kid was in there with us, and you nailed him so hard. You went over the top rope and you skinned the cat back in, and you nailed him so hard. He had to roll down his socks to take a shit the next day. And he came over to you in the back at the bar we were at Fridays. He went over to you, oh, Mr. Houston, thank you so much. Thank you so much. He goes, you said, I didn't hurt you none, did I? And he goes, no. That was beautiful. That was beautiful. Look, I got this mark on my chest.
Yeah. Hey, I threw Cahagas out of the ring. He flew from the ring apron 22 feet before his butt hit, and it hit
I
right on
remember
the
that.
second row. And he skidded a couple of times. That was a good one. I was like, man, that was awesome. And he goes, I didn't do that. He said, you did. I said, something takes over when I get in front of the people. But yeah, hey man, we got a lot of great things getting ready to happen, and I want to start. I talked to some folks the other day, and I'm really thinking about working on getting some books out and things like that. Just kind of taking care of things. We gotta. I don't know. We've got to all find that peace in ourselves to where we can keep muddling through and getting through all this turmoil and crap and news and stuff like that. Just turn it off, man. Get back, have a personal relationship with your Creator. Get to know, become a servant. Become a servant to your friends, to your fellow person, to your wife. You know what makes life so happy for me is I enjoy serving my wife and making her happy. And you know what? She enjoys doing it for me too. So
Can you
everything
have a
works
private
that way.
conversation with him, please?
Huh?
Can you have a private conversation with him, please?
Oh
I love
yeah,
that.
Andrew, open every stinking car door, all the the doors at the restaurant, pull all the chairs, don't pull them out from underneath of her, put them in and tuck her into the table. And don't open the car doors at 80 miles an hour.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I got to stop doing all that shit.
Yeah. No, but uh, look, if you keep them around people that are good, maybe some of it'll wash off on him. He was around Kevin for a long time.
You know how that goes.
Boy needs some help. Used to work for Dylan Hines,
Oh, remember that? Remember that
Oh
fiasco?
yeah.
That was a
Yeah,
nightmare.
I don't know. I heard some stuff going on with that with Rob Van Dam and the other thing.
Yeah,
And
he
there was a
burned
whole
Rob pretty
thing.
bad.
Oh, I don't know. I was laughing so hard, so I called Robbie up, and he was in the airport somewhere, going from one destination to another one, and he kind of filled me in on all that stuff, and I was like, wow, man, I'm so glad I'm not.
Well, I could
We
tell you a
don't we don't.
private conversation when he had the nerve to call me and berate her on Facebook. It was horrible what he said about her. He just went off on her in the most vile way. I've never done nothing. She's never met. She met him maybe once, and he just totally went off on. There's something wrong with him. That's the only thing I could say.
Oh, well, everybody
There's
knows that.
something
You
wrong
can
with him.
tell. You can tell. I told him to, those Abdullah the Butcher forks for him. You need a cork on the end of it.
Hey Sam, so one of the things we do on our podcast is we like to close off with our guests and tell a story, a really good tale, and I mean tale because they are tales, of Kevin Sullivan. One of your experiences with Kevin, you had a lot of them, so would like to get your input on a famous Kevin Sullivan story.
Well, I'm trying. I mean, I remember, and I think it was Angelo Mosca. Okay, Angelo Mosca would bully people with ribs and stuff like
Yep.
that. And I remember Kevin started wearing, and this was when I first got to Florida, you know. But everybody down there in Florida, all the boys wore cowboy boots, just about, you know. Well, Kevin had worn these cowboy boots. Well, he come back from the ring or something, and oh gosh, they had cut the stock off of the cowboy boots, so they looked like little elf shoes. You know, they were super glued to the floor.
I got to snort
When
on
Mosca came back in, his shoes were on fire in the dressing room. So nobody knows how that happened.
It was them damn British Bulldogs
There's
again.
some bulldogs again, right?
Yeah, those damn British Bulldogs. No, but yeah, I remember Kevin coming back in, and he had little elf shoes. Now, I'm not going to talk about any of the nasty things or stuff like that you know, where he had, you know, bodily fluids that couldn't maintain and things. But poor guy, and I'm glad you cleaned him up.
He definitely tried, right?
Right?
Him and Karen did their best.
Yeah. You know, you deserve a merit of, I mean, a medal of honor, or a merit medal, or a silver star, or something for that one. You know. But you know, it's like I said though. Hey man, thank you so much for having me. I really do appreciate it.
Listen,
you know,
Sam, you have become one of my best friends in the business and in my personal life, and
well,
you know,
I
we've
appreciate
provided
that. You
in
know,
each other over the
Andrew, I'm
years
only
over a lot
looking
of
out.
bullshit.
I'm
We
only
never
looking
had a
out for
problem
you,
with each
trying to
other. We
make you
always
better.
worked things out. We've always gotten in trouble together and got blamed for
Yeah.
everything that happened in a locker room. It wasn't the Bulldogs when me and you were together.
No, it didn't have to be. Well, no, but anyway, gosh, I want to thank you so much. Folks can reach me, find me at Sam Houston on Facebook, Michael Sam Houston on Facebook, Sam Houston Fan Nation on Facebook. I'm getting ready to do some. I think I'm gonna get ready and oh yeah, I'm on TikTok and Instagram and all that other stuff. Amy takes care of that. I don't know how to do none of that, so. You know, she takes care of that. But
And
we're
did
getting
you
ready to
plug
do a
the
lot of
Charlie
things.
Norris show coming up?
Yeah, on July the 19th for Charlie Norris, Thief River Falls Casino. I'll be talking to the promoter on Friday. Tickets
Okay,
go
awesome.
on sale for that event
I'd love
on
to
May
get on
the
that with you.
1st. Well, I'm trying because right now people are having trouble getting from Canada here to the States. My
Yeah.
opponent was supposed to be coming from Canada. So I've talked to the promoter, and I don't know what to do. We're going to come to a decision, I guess, on Friday. But hey, if I'm looking across the ring at you or him, it don't matter. You're getting all of me, Jack. And you know how I'm coming, all or nothing. So I'm coming with all of it. You know?
So nice to get a chance to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Miss Karen. You take care, and I'm sure we'll see each other down the road. All right, I love you guys.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Jeff, nice to meet you too, man.
Sam Houston. Sam, thank you so much for taking the time. It really was an honor just to get a few minutes. And on behalf of Reinforcer Radio, we're so glad that you're doing well, and the health is kicking back around for you. I know you and Jake have had some health issues there. So we are so glad in the wrestling community to have the quintessential babyface still hanging tough with us in the pro wrestling community. Anything you need from Reinforcer Radio, we are here for you, my friend.
Well, we're going to do this again. I mean, I had a good time.
To come on with us. So we love you.
I'm going to come on again.
Love you, Dancing Sam.
All right, love you too, bro. Later.
Reinforcer Radio.
There you have it, guys. Sam Houston, definitely one of a kind guy there. Awesome to hear his story. Really, really glad to see that Sam is doing well, and he kicked out of that one.
Absolutely.
It's really different too to hear, you know, a lot of the spiritual healing and, you know, not just the traditional medicine is working for people. It's really, really awesome. Karen, what are your thoughts with, a lot of the spiritual medicine and things like that?
Well, and actually, I was going to just come in there. I appreciate that introduction because in my therapy, I do a lot of EMDR work with trauma, and I actually now started doing EMDR work with psilocybin, with MDMA, and also with ketamine. So it's an all natural. A lot of clients getting off of medications, being able to process traumas, couples working with MDMA. It's been phenomenal. I was trained in this all last year. That's why, I mean, my trainings were in Jamaica. It was hardship. I don't.
It was tough when you weren't in
I had,
seminar.
I hate my job sometimes. No, but it was, and the trainers, they had us do it, and it's phenomenal. The trauma you can carry for years. I'm 56. Trauma from 7 years old gone. A whole look on life, all natural. So it's amazing. So when he talked about that story, all I kept thinking was like, this is incredible to hear it.
Yeah, it was really, really cool. And, it's cool to see too, ketamine being used in so many different ways. I use it for a completely different thing. We use it to take down the crazy people that are on drugs.
Do you have any for me?
Do you have some? I might need that.
Well, see, if you would like to invest, I've been working on a ketamine blow dart. That way everybody stays safe. And all it takes is a
Hold
little.
on a second. You're gonna be like Kirari darts, and when she sees me coming,
Yeah,
you know,
and then
Mel?
you just collapse like an elephant,
like
right?
Mr. T, like Mr. T in the A-Team, right?
I said though, the problem is I won't be able to get enough medication onto the tip of the dart. It'll be like the old Ace Ventura when nature calls, when he's running through the woods and they keep shooting him with the darts and like part of his arm's asleep and he's just like,
Yep.
fine. So that unfortunately for guys our size, I don't
Yeah,
know
it
if I can get enough med in there.
It doesn't really get through, right?
No, it doesn't. But yeah, it's a medication in Pennsylvania that we use for excited delirium and inhibition induction agent, which works really, really well because it decreases everything there, so I can place a inhibition tube in and
Oh wow,
a tracheal tube. But that's a whole nother story and everything. They don't let us use paralytics. They don't trust us with paralytics. I don't understand. But really, really cool to see and hear some of that stuff that he was doing in order to get himself healthy and everything.
Sam is an amazing story of redemption. I mean, the man actually did his time. He went to prison for a while, and he kicked out of that, rehabilitated himself and everything. Went through rehab, cleaned himself up, and then he goes through this. And
Yep.
to see him go through this was just it was heartbreaking because at the time we were just struggling with the loss of Black Bart to cancer
Mhm.
and Kevin's passing, and so many of the boys have passed away. Sid just passed away, and it was a tough thing. And then all of a sudden to hear that he's kicking out and doing great. I mean, I love Sam. Sam's a good friend. Like I said, he's family for all intents and purposes. Sam has become family, and it was great having him on here and telling his story. And we hope to have him on again with updates on his condition. And hopefully, me and him will have another run at it together.
Yeah, I've been trying to push some things here. Maybe we'll get this year of the Reinforcer. We got a few matches that we really got to plan. I know you got some other ones in line, but there's a few people I think that need to step between the ropes there with you. And if Sam's making a final run himself too, it'd be pretty cool to kind of bring everything together full circle for
Yep.
you and him.
Yep. 100%.
That'd be a really, really neat idea, and we'll have to discuss it more on it off air, so that way we're not, giving
Absolutely.
open-ended promises or anything like that. But
Absolutely, we don't push something that's not going to happen. Obviously, unfortunately, in our line of work, sometimes this stuff happens. Card subject to change, so to speak, right?
that's very true. It's funny you bring that up because we still haven't done any of our other shows with that with our title of Card Subject to Change, where we're
Yes.
we're really diving into other things.
Yes, we're gonna be doing a segment called Card Subject to Change, and also Karen's gonna have a good segment on here to give a woman's perspective on various points of life, not just of wrestling, but of I guess dealing with wrestling.
Yeah, she hasn't agreed to it yet, but she's now been put on the spot to the
Yeah.
point where Karen is going to do this wonderful segment. She just doesn't know it yet.
She just doesn't know it yet.
Well, I'll be honest. I'm not even with it right now. I squirrel because you know what I'm thinking about right now. I'm thinking about donating $1,000, getting a cowbell, and wrapping around Andrew, so I know when he's coming around.
Can I just have the potato sack to put on the wall behind us? That's all I want.
I'm gonna be like a big cat or a dog walking around, and and bong, bong, bong. Here he comes.
It's funny. I was busting on you to Kelly earlier because I was lucky enough to have my first session with Karen. Karen's helping me with some mental health issues and everything. We've talked about that before. And Karen and I had our first session today, and no lie, we hadn't even gone 40 minutes, and my phone was binging, and I'm like, who the heck is texting me? It's him. Sending me pictures of like him and the guy dressed up like Gene Simmons. And I'm like, I turned to Kelly when we're done. I was like, he's like a little kid. Like,
I had no idea you were on with her. I had no idea of any of this.
I could see you in the other room being like, Karen's playing with my friend.
I was going to send you that famous picture of Knobs' asshole, but you look at it and do that. Then you were really have to double up on the trauma therapy.
He's like, Karen's on the phone and Jeff's busy. I know, I'm bored. I don't have anybody to play with.
I didn't even realize she was on the phone with you.
No, but that was it was definitely perfect timing for you to hit my phone up, and I'm like, and I didn't say anything when Karen was on, because I wanted to be like, what the fuck is Andrew texting me right now?
I had no clue.
So, but thank you again to Sam Houston. Hearing your story, and we didn't really even discuss professional wrestling too much with him, which it was kind of a different thing. I was really curious about the almost getting eaten by cannibals thing.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask him about that, but maybe another time we'll have to figure out why he was almost eaten by cannibals, because I'm kind of intrigued. I'm a little sick, so that kind of thing definitely it perks my interest.
Well, we didn't have to talk wrestling because this is not your ordinary wrestling podcast.
This is very true. It is very true.
That's our disclaimer from the beginning.
That has been our disclaimer from the beginning. This is just two nerdy guys that love professional wrestling that are talking on microphones for people.
That's it.
And Karen's here.
Karen's just lost in the middle.
She's lost in the middle. But yes, we're going to discuss a new segment with Karen that she can no longer not agree to, because you have been told out there that it's going to happen. But it should be a lot of fun. We have a lot of really cool things coming up that we're really trying to plan.
Well, you guys know I did 5 years in prison.
You did do 5 years.
I did do 5 years. Yeah.
Yeah. We don't talk about why.
One of my first jobs was working in a prison. So
the stories I'm sure that Karen has, it could compete with the stories that I'm sure that I could bring to the table.
They're pretty interesting.
And no doubt, because they started with me and they ended with Karen. Like I had them on the street, and then Karen got them in prison afterwards. So yeah, it's we live in an interesting world outside this whole podcast thing. It's definitely interesting. But Andrew, what do we got going on in your world? What do you got coming up?
I got to pull out a little bit of a list over here. Let's see. We're going to start out April 25th to the 27th at the Hilton Parsippany in New Jersey. We have Chiller Theater. Karen and I will be at Chiller Theater. Go to chillertheater.com. Check out the guest list. We have July 17th to the 19th at George Tragos Luthez Hall of Fame. The ceremony and inductions there, as well as the matches. August 18th to the 21st in Las Vegas, we have the Cauliflower Alley Club reunion. That's going to be a hell of a time.
Oh, real quick. I'll just have you know, I did sign up for my membership for the Cauliflower.
Thank you very much.
So Bob Cook, I sent it in. I am now, I haven't gotten anything official back, but the payment was made. So Cauliflower, I got you.
Brian Blair, we got another member in for you. There you go. Also, we have the Boomers Car Club in Polk Township Volunteer Fire Department in Kriegsville, PA on May 31st. I'll be there along with Gene Snitsky and Shane Douglas, signing autographs, kissing babies, and punching your grandmas in the mouth. And then August 1st to the 5th at the Hilton University Plaza in Charlotte, we have The Gathering, which is a tradition for me and Karen now. We do it every year. I've been doing it for quite a number of years, and we'll be there for that. And then the last one is October 17th to the 18th, Carlisle Comic-Con at the Carlisle Expo Center. We're looking forward to being there with that. A lot of great names on that too coming up. I think a lot of people from ECW, and I think I forgot who else is on that, but the lineup is really blowing up for this one. Last year it was kind of a little sedated, but now it's really getting to be a star-studded lineup.
Speaking of star-studded lineup, how was last weekend up in New Hampshire or Connecticut?
We were in we were in We were in
Massachusetts.
Massachusetts, Seekonk, Massachusetts.
That was a stellar lineup up there as well. Kurt Angle was up there, right?
Oh, and you know what I got to say before he even mentions it, my dream come true. I got to meet Sergeant Slaughter. I almost passed out. I'm like, I grew up. This guy, I was like, here he is. I said, I got to meet him. We got to go over there and meet him. And Hacksaw. So like, wow, that was incredible for me.
Yeah, she met Hacksaw and Deborah, his wonderful wife. We met them before. Well, she met them before. I've known them for years, but it was really good finally having her connect with Sergeant Slaughter. And she, you know, Sarge has been a very important part of my wrestling career. Not only as a fan growing up, watching him on WWF TV and then WWF, and then later on in the WWE. But Sarge has been an integral part of my career as far as influence and helping me a lot with my confidence in the ring over the years. He just basically took and helped mold a young Andrew Anderson, helping me with my move set, encouraging me, telling me what I did wrong, what I haven't done wrong, what I haven't done right. That's a better way to put it. Not telling me what I did wrong, but what I didn't do right. That was the way he would describe it to me. Pushing me and always encouraging me, telling me I'm a hard worker, and you know, making sure my place in the card was in the right spot, and helping promoters tweak it so that I had a good spot on every card. So he was always there for me in that aspect.
You know what one of my favorite Slaughter memories is? Now, this is 90s. This is right into the Attitude Era, but he was the commissioner of Monday Night Raw, and D-Generation X pulled out the masks with the little windshield wipers on it because, you know, Slaughter would spit occasionally when he talked, and they put the giant masks on with the little windshield wipers going while he was lecturing them in the ring. And man, you know my love for Shawn Michaels, so any bit that Shawn did, but I just remember cracking up with those little windshield wipers. And I don't remember if it was Triple H or if it was Shawn, but one of them couldn't get their wipers going on the little mask. And dude, it was so funny because one of them's just going like crazy, and the other one, they couldn't get it. It was all screwed up and everything. But man, Sarge was so good about, just making fun of himself and putting on the show, and it was just absolutely awesome because the whole thing was poking fun at Sarge.
The best thing, Sarge probably had no clue they were going to do it. Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder. Maybe we'll have him on at some point. We'll be able to ask him if he knew some of the crap they were going to put him through, especially during the Stooges era of Gerald Briscoe, Pat Patterson, and the corporation. Sarge was doing a lot with the business, WWE at that time. But oh man, it just, anytime I think of Sarge, I think about them stupid helmets with the little windshield wipers on it.
My fondest memory with Sarge was Sergeant Slaughter and Pat Patterson in the street fight they had in Madison Square Garden. That was one of the bloodiest matches I've ever seen. That was just, Pat Patterson was a hell of a worker, and so was Sarge. And Sarge would take that dive and land headfirst into the ring post, pop back, and like Gordon Soley would say, a crimson mask.
Yeah, and it's funny, if you go back and you look at like the Mid-South days and everything that Sarge came through, man, he still looks the same.
He looks great.
How does he still look exactly the same?
Sarge looks great. He gained weight a while ago and then dropped it as quickly as he gained it. It looks just tremendous. Sarge is an icon. That's all. And speaking of icons, we were there, brought in with the same agent and at the show for at the New England Fan Fest, which I got to tell you, Joe Bruin runs a top-notch production, and Ink Tank, Tim Moody, and Dan Marcotte, you guys were phenomenal, man. You guys brought us in and you took care of us soup to nuts. It was a great deal. They're a top-notch talent agency, and we love working with them. And but in the meantime, we got this to sit with Gangrel, who's a longtime friend of mine, personal friend of mine, who also went through some recent surgeries on his hip and his knee, had a hip replacement and a knee replacement, and he's back in the ring wrestling. So it's another redemption kind of story. He's doing great. I mean, that's phenomenal. And he's actually we're talking about bringing him in here for the next in the next few episodes for Reinforcer Radio. So that'll be a great person to have on the show.
Definitely. I'm going to try not to fanboy a little bit on Gangrel because, man, I'll tell you what, those early days of the Brood, dude, some of the best stuff that was going on in professional wrestling at the time. I was a big Gangrel fan, and I was a big Brood fan. I mean, who couldn't be? That freaking music was so
That was
awesome.
great.
And
That
they
was the
came
best
up
intro.
in the fire,
Yep,
and
best intro.
you
Best
know,
intro ever.
it was just absolutely awesome. And just that chuckle he would do as he was carrying that goblet all the time. He would open, show the fangs, and he'd just do that laugh, man. And I loved watching Gangrel. I love still seeing him pop up AEW occasionally, or WWE, wherever he's at. I can't wait to have him on there.
And one of the things that me and Gangrel will discuss on the show is a friend of our, AJ and Dr. Caprio, Integrated Pain Management, because both of us are major. We love our doc who handles our stem cell therapy, our TRT therapy, and really helps us with the exosomes and getting that into our system and helping us heal up. And Doc helped us a lot. He got Gangrel straight again, walking. He was kind of like crooked for a while there. The stem cells helped him get it back. They helped him a lot with his knee. And unfortunately, sometimes you need stuff beyond just stem cell therapy. So I needed the knee replacement. And just recently, I got some therapy for my back from them. And I'll be going in a week from this Tuesday to get stem cells injected into my lower lumbar. So
yes, so please keep the Reinforcer here in your thoughts and prayers. He's going to be getting some stuff done here and there over the next couple of weeks. Unfortunately, pro wrestling is taking its toll on the big man, and he's going to get some work done here and there. We'll keep you posted on everything. I'm sure we'll get Karen to get some good pictures of him all doped up.
Oh, listen, I got a picture of me and Gangrel. I'm going to tell you a little bit of a rib over here I did to him. So the first time we got our stem cells put in, and Dave told Karen the story. We were both in our hospital gowns in the surgical center. Dave said, "You go first." So I went in to get stem cells put in my shoulder. He was getting them put in his lower back. I went in there and I said to the doc and the whole cast and crew in the back, "I'm going to start screaming bloody murder." He's in the waiting room over there in gorilla position, as I called it, with his wife, Susan. She wasn't even his wife yet. I think they were engaged at the time. And I started screaming at the top of my lungs, "God help me, this hurts like hell. Oh my God, somebody help me." Full-blown theatrics. Well, the look on his face in the back, his wife Susan said to me, she goes, "His face, he was, you'd ever seen a tan vampire turn white before?" He lost that freaking that Florida tan real quick. He was pale. And he was like, he walked in, he said, "You okay?" I said, "Oh man, it was horrible." And he looked one look at me, and he goes, "You ribbed me, didn't you?"
Well, we got to have your doc on too, so that way he can discuss the whole process.
Yeah, we'll
of
have
stem cells.
AJ and Dr. Caprio on one day too. They'll love to come on. They're great guests. They're just great people.
Karen and I'll geek out a little medical, and it'll be card subject to change, which is exactly what we do around here.
That's what it is.
Well, and before we move on or before we end, I just want to throw out to Sergeant Slaughter, I'm ready for a rematch because he told me he wants a rematch. So if he's listening, you got it.
Oh man, Sarge, there you go.
That's great.
Andrew, I hope you enjoyed your time with Karen, because apparently you have lost her to Sergeant
Well,
Slaughter.
when he comes to the house with the camouflage limo, what am I supposed to do?
Dude, I'm getting in too. I mean,
Oh, you guys are abandoning me.
I just want to wear the hat at once. That's all. But well, again,
as
thank
long as
you.
she doesn't blow his whistle.
Pun intended, ladies and gentlemen. We are a classy show here. But listen, thank you again, Sam Houston. We're going to wrap this whole thing up for another week, so that way Karen can get Andrew home for his bedtime. It's getting late here in the old Pennsylvania, but no, it's really not that late. But I got to spring my wife from the bedroom upstairs so she can be noisy again. But Andrew, anything for the good of the people?
The good of the people. Thank you for tuning in and listening to us rant. And, I want to say it again, keep Sam Houston in your prayers, because you're never really out of the woods with anything. You don't know what life could throw at you at any given time. And we love you, Sam. We're glad you were a guest, and we'll have you on plenty of times, as many times you want to come on. He's he was a tremendous athlete in his day. Still apparently is. He's got the constitution of a horse, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
And Dancing Sam, glad you kicked out of it. Now we have to do one more dance, you and me, either as tag team partners or as opponents. Either way, I love it. Now listen to Reinforcer Radio. check out JaniceCoffeeRoasters.com, Reinforcer Coffee. Get your coffee today. And what about that energy drink that we have?
Yes, w.gg.com. Remember to use that coupon code Reinforcer. It'll tell them that Andrew and I are sending you over there. You're supporting the show. So remember w.gg.com, coupon code Reinforcer.
And hopefully very soon, Karen and I will have our own brand of bourbon out pretty soon. So,
and we're all going to taste test that on the show.
On the show, yep.
So, Karen, anything for the good of the people?
I'm not really sure. Actually, I think just I'm going to just piggyback off of what Sam said, which is, just be with the ones you love. Make sure they know that. Stay present, everyone. I think it's so easy to get lost in what's going on in the world and news, social media and stuff, and just be with the moment with the ones that you love and care about. Because I think that's, we don't know what tomorrow brings. So I always stress that to a lot of my clients. I stress that to my family. Present, be with the ones you love.
Yes.
So I'm in that note, I'm going to change my little ending statement. Be nice to everyone. Play hard. Play fair. Nobody gets hurt. That was from the Kiss comic in the 70s. But in the meantime, I just want to say, tune into Reinforcer Radio, and you better go home and kiss your mama and tell her you love her, because you never know.
Because if you don't, Andrew's coming to your house.
And I'm going to
No. He's going to kiss your mama, and you really don't want that.
Yeah, you don't want that. You better hope she has a rabies vaccination.
So, all right, guys, remember what my knuckles always say: live for now, live on. Thank you guys for checking us out, Reinforcer Radio, and we will see you guys around the hood.
Reinforcer Radio.